three, day three of our 3-day event. If you've been with me for these 3 days, I know you've had a good time, you've learned a lot, and you're very, very excited about what we're going to do next. Today is the day where we're going to actually start putting this whole process together. We're going to start putting the story together. We're going to, get through that part, and we're just gonna take this thing to work and go. So I appreciate everybody that's going to tune in. Again, my name is Arnold Austin. I'm a certified coach through John Maxwell. I've been sharing again a lot of this information for the last 3 days to try to get people in the mindset where they can understand the significance and the importance of it. And I'm going to briefly go over some of the highlights. The first day I talked about the conscious versus the subconscious mind and what is the importance of it. And with going through that day and through that process, appreciate anybody that's in here. Thank you for the taps and the shares and likes. Thank you for joining in. Thank you for your attention. With the first day, again, I'm just going to brief interview before I actually start this third day. But the first day, we dealt with the conscious mind versus the subconscious mind. And we looked at the difference between the two minds. And also we looked at, the example of the iceberg and how that our conscious mind represented the part that's above the iceberg and the subconscious represented the part that's below the iceberg. And with that being said, our conscious mind deals with a lot of our critical thinking, short-term memory, willpower, and logical thinking. And then our subconscious deals more with our beliefs, our emotions. The subconscious deals with more of our beliefs and our emotions. Appreciate anybody that's in here. Thank you for the taps, likes, and shares. And so our subconscious, and I'm just going to a brief overview, and then I'll get into day three's information. How you doing, Vanessa or Nessa? And so basically, day three, we will be spending more time actually writing, as far as trying to format the story. And I'll go over the details of how you can actually get, where you should find music or where you can get music and, where you can record and do all the different things. But, so again, the characteristics of our subconscious is our beliefs, our emotions, our habits, our values, our imagination, right? Our intuition, all of these things. It's our long-term thoughts, it's the long-term memory. Also we talked about the 10 blocks, in other words, those are the things that block us from getting to the next step. And if you're like me, I had blocks in my life, but I didn't know that they were blocks at the time. All I knew is that I had certain times, or I could only get to certain spots. I couldn't get past certain spots. And yeah, I didn't have a block concerning health, but I had a block concerning finance. And part of that block was based upon the way I was raised, based upon being raised by people that were let's say 2 generations from sharecroppers and people that just didn't have a lot of thought process concerning obtaining things and doing things. So their mindset was just work. And then when you tie that in with religion, it made them have the mindset of almost considering it an honor to be poor and not to have, and the lack mindset and all this. So all this stuff was ingrained and taught from a very young age. But even though I knew inside of me when I was growing up that it didn't match where I was, I still heard these stories. And so it kind of infiltrated my thought process. So our lives, again, it looks like what we believe. And so the 3 things that are going to build your belief, the 3 things that's going to build your subconscious or create the pattern or thought pattern that you want, is the first thing is repetition. So part of what we're going to do as we create the story today is we're going to start allowing ourselves to repeat certain things. That's why, once you get a story, your story doesn't have to be a bit massive, long, 10 pages or 30-page story. It just needs to be something. And then you can repeat the story over and over again for like 8 or 10 minutes or 12 or 15 minutes as you record it. And then because when you play it, you want to repeat it for a period of time as you're going off to sleep. You want the recording to do the work. This is why I'm saying what I'm teaching y'all will be effortless. You will not even realize that you're doing it, but you'll start noticing certain things that start taking place around your life. Second thing is your emotion. Your story has to tie into emotion. So repetition and emotion. Repetition is how our subconscious receives information and how it learns information. And the emotion part is what happens is our mind automatically categorizes something that is important based upon an emotional response. That's why trauma is automatically ingrained in the subconscious. It's automatically, that's why if I'm going to help somebody get over trauma, I got to help them get in there and look at what is in their subconscious and how they can change it. The third thing is your environment. Where are you at? Who's around you? What are they doing? People, places, and things. You got to look at everything that's around you, because that's part of the process of us receiving things also. And then I talked about the 10 blocks, which are important. I hope anybody that's in here that you went over that stuff, because part of you writing your story, I want you to write about those blocks. I want you to write about the things that you know, or things that were kind of blocking you, kind of hindering you from getting to the next level. And if you're in here, please make sure you got a pen and paper. Make sure you got you're in some room alone where you can kind of focus or whatever. Because if you get this and you start doing this and you can implement it, I'm telling you, you're going to see a difference. I see a difference in my life. And I've only been doing it maybe, let's say a month. It might have been a little bit longer. It might have been a little bit longer. Let's say a month and a couple weeks. And so with that time frame, I've seen the significant results. And so this is part of what I'm trying to tell y'all. You're going to see results. You're going to get inspiration to do certain things, and that's part of why you're going to have to be in tune with that voice inside of you, because your subconscious speaks to you through your intuition, through that internal voice. So when you hear certain things, or you get a feeling to do certain things, a lot of times, with the way I examine that thought is this a normal thought that I would have, especially when it's concerning people. I had a person, I'm gonna give you a real quick example, I'm gonna move on. I had a person around my life that I've known for extended period of time. This person I've known probably 5-6 years ago. I was waiting to see what the behavior or what this person was gonna do, because I had a thought about them. The thought wasn't a positive thought. I normally am not a person that just generally I don't normally have negative thoughts about people. And so what I did was I made a note of it, I wrote it down, and then I just waited. And then I saw that the thought was, I got confirmation to the thought. And this is part of what I'm trying to say, is that when you take more time to monitor that thought or the thoughts, you'll see that sometimes you're being instructed to be warned about certain things. Okay, so where were we at? Okay, so tonight, again, this is day 3, and I was trying to give people a chance to get in here. And so let's go over the story a little bit. Nessa, were you able to work on your the part with the affirmations and the 10 building blocks? Because if you were, I'm gonna see if we can add to that tonight. Hello, how you doing? Yes. How you doing? Yes. Okay, cool. Because okay, so we talked about that. We talked about the blocks. We talked about the writing. Okay, let me give you 5 things. I'm gonna give you 5 things to help in this writing. I just jotted these things down. Okay, the 5 keys. You're probably better off writing them down. And for the next one of these, I'll have pop-ups that people won't have to write this stuff down, but today you got to kind of write it down. The first thing is when you're writing your story, you want to come from the place of who. And so the who represents who are you talking about? Who are the characters in your story? And with most of us, your character in your story is you. And then whoever else you're looking to bring into, like if you're looking to end up meeting someone and marry them and all this, that's the other who, or whomever else. So you got to think in terms of your who. Who are the people? Who are the players that are involved in your story? Second thing is where. Where is your story taking place? Where do you imagine, or where do you see yourself? What would be that imaginary, most beautiful, exciting, whatever place that you could see as part of your story? Because you're creating your story. No, your story has nothing to do with anybody else. It's based upon your imagination. This is why I went through this whole big process yesterday, and I was talking about different things that have taken place in my life, and how you got to find your why. And part of finding your why is you got to know why you would want to do this, and what would your dream life look like. And because I'm trying to stimulate you to see what is the objective, or to see what is the thing that you would want if someone else was imaginary writing the check. Because at this point you'll be writing the check. You will be writing an unlimited check, a check with all the zeros on it, based upon you creating different thoughts in your mind, based upon you getting different results. So the third thing is what. What is the goal or the problem that you want or that you need? What is the thing that you want or what is the thing that you need? What is the goal? What is the why? What is the what? So who, where, and what? This is part of what your story's got to be. Okay? You got that? If you got that, say yes. You got that, say yes. Mm, mm, mm. Dun, dun, dun. Got that? If you got that, say yes. Thank y'all for the taps. Appreciate y'all being whoever's in here. Because I can't even see who's in there right now. Okay, yeah. Okay. Number 4, how? So how do you plan on getting over this obstacle? Part of your story is how do you plan on getting over this obstacle? Okay. What are you going to try to do to get to get over this obstacle? What is the plan? And it doesn't have to be some elaborate plan, but just it's with any story you want to kind of have your who who's involved and where are you at and whether you're on the beach or whether you're on whether you're in Connecticut or whether you're in paint a picture, paint a setting of what would be your idea place or your idea environment. And part of you being in that idea environment, what would be the goal and why would you want to be there? What would you be there doing? How would you, if there's any obstacles or anything that's going on, which there shouldn't be as part of this story, but what would be your plan? What would a perfect day or a perfect scenario look like for you as concerning this? And then the end is basically you kind of resolve everything in the end. That end result is part of the resolution. How does it end? How would that story end? And so what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna give you like 10 minutes. I'm gonna give you like 10 minutes. I might give you more because I want, but either way, I want to give you a chance to get this because, I want to give you a chance to try to start writing this story. Even though I'm gonna give you a one-on-one session, you and D Law, but so yeah, 10 minutes. And so what you want to do is you want to try to find 2 to 3 sentences for these 5 things. And then if you get that done quick, then we'll add a little bit more time and try to create sentences for the things that you're working on as far as even but you said you did that. So let's just work on this. 10 minutes. I'll let you know when it's up. If you're just coming in, go get a notebook and a pad. Today, this day 3, and we're doing some writing assignments in order to get this last phase of this process done. If you're just tuning in, let me know who you are, because that way I can give you the 5. I can give you the 5. Good evening. If you're in here, we're doing a writing assignment for those that are just getting here now. And so we're talking about, hold on, like a couple more minutes, 5 more minutes, with this and that. So if you're in here, I appreciate you being here. But yeah, we're doing the writing because we're writing, today's the third day and we're doing the writing assignment as part of creating the story that we need to help to shift our thought process and our subconscious. Appreciate you all being in here though. Good evening. Appreciate y'all being in here. We're doing an assignment real quick. We'll be back. We'll be talking in a minute. But I appreciate y'all tuning in. If you're just tuning in, let me know where you're tuning in from. Appreciate y'all being in here. Got like 3 minutes left. 3 minutes left. If you're just getting in here, we started a writing assignment. If you've been here for the other 2 days, let me know because I want to get you this information. That way you can do it to help to create your story. Appreciate it. Thank you. Yeah, appreciate y'all being in here. If you've been here for the other 2 days of this 3-day conference, let me know that you're in here because I got to get you this questions or this these 5 things so you can help to write your story. Couple more minutes. Couple more minutes. These gnats. We're doing an assignment real quick. If you're just getting in here, we're doing an assignment. That's why I keep saying that. So just give it a couple minutes, like a minute. And if you've been here for the other 2 days, let me know. Or if you're just a passer through, that's fine. Appreciate y'all if you're in here. Ness, that's about it, Ness. It's like a few seconds left. And so if you're done, Ness, let me know. And if you're not, either way, just kind of let me know where you are and what's going on. Because tonight has to be a lot of this type of stuff, because I want you to get the basic thing formatted, the basics of what you're writing formatted. And when we do our one-on-one session, then what I can do is, oh, you're done. Okay, cool. Okay. Yeah, so when we get that one-on-one, or I can't say one-on-one, it'd be two-on-one session, then what I'll do is I can go into a little bit more detail and kind of help you break down the story or whatever. But I mean, your story is kind of personal, so it's not really something that it's something that, again, it's something that you have to build based upon knowing what is the things that you desire. The things that I try to stress to people is you only want to desire things that are in alignment with your life. You know, you don't want something that's not part of the alignment, because it's just going to be something that's going to be conflict. It's going to be conflict as far as your life. It's not going to be matching up. And so the second part of that is, now what you would have to do is you got to take the stuff that's part of the 10 building blocks or blocks, the 4 areas, because you should have little sentences or little affirmations from all of those things. And then you should take the body of, or the 10, let's say 10 or 12 sentences from what you just wrote, and you want to just kind of weave that into a story. And it doesn't have to really make complete sense, but you kind of want it to make sense. And so, you know, you would start it like you would start anything, as far as trying to think what would be a good way to say this, but it's, you kind of want to start it just like you would start any story, like once upon a time I was in wherever, because again, it's starting with the first part is, who are the players? So once upon a time, you know, I can, or I can imagine that such and such, and that as I was doing such and such, I was in England, or I was in Scotland, or I was in France, wherever, France. And I'm just giving you a crazy example. But your story, definitely you want to make it what's going to be personal and emotional to you, because you have to be emotionally caught up. That's why I spent so much time on the building blocks, or not, I shouldn't say, I keep saying building blocks, but the blocks that resist us from getting to the next level, because those things hindered us. They hindered you from moving your life on. Appreciate everybody that's in here. Thank you for the taps and the shares and likes. And so when you get to the third part, you want to tie that into a goal. What is the overall goal? Again, it ties into day 2. What is the overall goal or the objective that you're looking to obtain, and you're looking to get out of this experience that you're going through, out of this learning how to truly conversate with your subconscious, and going in and reprogramming and changing the outcomes, and looking at ways that, you know, no longer will you have money issues based upon something that you don't believe, or your health or your relationships, but you're breaking all of those those patterns that you have incorporated into your life. Fourth thing is how are you planning? What is the plan? The plan to get from A to B. A lot of times the plan, you don't have to actually plan this stuff out because you don't need to know the plan. So basically, when I said what is the plan should be that I'm going to allow this thing to work out in the way that it's supposed to work out, because I'm kind of releasing it. I have an expectation and knowing what I want, but I'm kind of releasing. I'm kind of giving it away. And so what I'm going to do is I'm going to give you another 10 minutes, because what I want you to do is I want you to start working on your story. Why I'm here. Actually start working on it. And I probably should give you 15, because you got to pull in the 10 from the 9 or 10 from the blocks. You got to pull in the 4 areas that I discussed. I hope you remember them: our relationships, our finance, our health, and our spirituality. All 4 of those areas. What would be your goals? What would be the ideal situations for you concerning all of those areas? And then the 10 or 12 points that we just mentioned a few minutes ago. And so, hello? Is anybody there? Speak to me, talk to me. Thank y'all for the taps, likes, and shares. Appreciate y'all being in here. Y'all hear me? So what I'm saying is, I give you 10 minutes. I probably should give you a little bit more because it's going to take a while. But 10 minutes to kind of start jotting out some things. It doesn't have to be perfect, because it don't even need to be perfect. Even when you read it, it doesn't need to be perfect. But you want to format something where it kind of flows. Where it kind of flows. Dang, coach, what do you mean? Am I giving you too much? Am I giving you too much? You got to tell me, is it too much? No, is it too much? Tell me. You want more time? You want less time? What are you saying? This is the most important part. So this is why I want to give you all as much time as possible, because I've already been on here 30 minutes. And so I knew that today would be the day where I got to kind of share this in such a way that I can help you get your story created and help you find your music. And I still got to go over, if you don't know how to find them, go to the apps and get a microphone. And because I got to think in terms of maybe everybody doesn't know this stuff. Because I was talking to a person Saturday that did not know this stuff. So this is where my mindset is. I'm trying to teach this from a way. Oh, you're on it. Okay. All right. So we'll start now. I'll give you 10. Starting now. So appreciate anybody else that's in here now. I'm basically doing a live coaching session. Am I silent? Am I still silent? Can you hear me? What's up? What's up, from Turkey? You can hear me? If you can hear me, say you can hear me. Give me a thumbs up. Yeah, okay, yeah. Yeah, so what I was saying, Vanessa, is I'm doing like a live coaching session for those that are just coming in here now. We had a 3-day event where we're dealing with the subconscious and the mind. And oh, the guy from Turkey can hear me. Ertan. Okay, but you said you can. Yeah. Yeah, so in here, I've done a 3-day event every night, 7 p.m. And in the USA. And this part of this event is I'm trying to train people on how they can actually train their subconscious mind to start getting the results that they want in their life. Because a lot of the resistance that we have as far as with our finances, our relationships, our health, and our spirituality is directly connected to thoughts. Our thoughts that we have, not from a conscious level, but from our subconscious, because that's where a lot of the information that we have is recorded. That's where our long-term memories are. That's where our desires. That's where our intuition. So a lot of the things that we take and that we have in life, that's where a lot of those things are. It's our beliefs. It's where your beliefs, your emotions, your habits, your long-term values, or your values, your imagination. And so when we're not in alignment to these, when we're not in alignment to the things that we want, that's where the battle comes in. The battle of, oh, okay. She said, start the clock. Okay, I'll start the clock. Start the clock. Okay. So that's where that battle comes in. And I'm talking because I have a client that I'm coaching on that line, and she's doing an assignment that I gave her where she's basically going in and she's creating a bedtime story. This is what I'm calling it. And I'm calling it and referencing it into a bedtime story because you're going to listen to this story majority of time when you're asleep, because that's when your subconscious is most susceptible to information because you're in a theta state. When you're in that theta state, it allows you to be open and receptive to information. Okay. And so, appreciate y'all that are in here. Thank y'all for the taps. Thank y'all for the comments. Thank y'all for, deciding to stop by. So if you see me being quiet, that's because she's doing an assignment. Because she's got to write this. Yeah, so appreciate y'all being in here. You have any questions, put them in the chat. You have any questions, put them in the chat. Thank y'all for tapping the screen. Thank y'all for the likes. Thank y'all for follows and all the good things. So yeah, we're teaching this as a way of helping people to actually go in and change their lives. Whether this is a person, I said this yesterday, whether they have a substance abuse problem or any other issue, whether they go to church or not, none of that stuff matters. It matters, but it's when you understand how much power and how much control our subconscious has over our life, you have to address it because it controls 90% of our lives. You said, what's the clock? The clock is for, I have a coaching client that's on here, and she's in the process of creating a new story. And so part of her creating that new story, Ertan, is I'm giving her time frames to do little assignments. Because this was like an online conference that I did for 3 days. It's a smaller, because this is my first one. And so I'm doing like a test market where I'm testing out what I found as far as how to help people really truly reprogram their subconscious mind. Because when you can go in and reprogram your subconscious mind, you're going to get different results in all the areas of your lives. You know, it's going to stop you with all of the internal fears. It's going to stop you with all of the, not being able to, lack of discipline. It's going to stop all of the no imagination, no creativity. It's going to stop all of the disbeliefs and all of the different things. It's because what you're going to do is you're going to get in tune with the things, or you're going to connect into the things that you need to do in order to start shaping your life and getting it to the place that you want it to go. You know. So, y'all have any more questions? Appreciate that, Ertan. Okay, yeah. So, yeah, I'm a certified coach, and so initially what I was doing is I was dealing with a lot of people that had relationship issues because I was married for a long time, ended up getting a divorce because of different things that took place. What up, ye cats? And because of that, what it did was it pushed me to a point that I started saying, why is everybody teaching the same thing, but people are still in the same situation? And so when you start asking certain questions, you start getting different results, or you start getting different things that come to mind that possibly could be the solution. And so one morning I woke up, and in process of waking up, the thought came, why are we trying to train our minds, our subconscious through our conscious? Because it just didn't make any sense to me. I didn't think it was a good idea. And so I just started seeking for different answers, and this is where this whole thing kind of initiated from. And so from that week on, this is all I've talked about. I stopped talking about a lot of the other things because I consider them symptoms. And so that's why I'm doing this, Ertan. Ertan, I think your name is Ertan. And yeah, so this is day 3. So the people, some of the individuals that's in there, what's up, Dancing? They're doing an assignment because I'm teaching them how to write their own story, or write a story, or which I'm calling a bedtime story. That's how I'm phrasing it, a bedtime story, because they're going to listen to it while they're asleep. So yeah, I appreciate y'all being in here. Thank each and every one of you for your time and your attention. And tonight is the last night, so they're gonna do a lot of writing. So I got them on timers. Like she's on a timer, see? 8 minutes, 8 minutes. Because my other timer, she started, then she came back in and left. So I got to start it over. But every part of this is important because in order to reprogram your subconscious, it's based upon repetition. Just like anytime you're getting an answer or anytime you're getting a thought that's outside of what you normally think, that's probably an answer. Most likely, it's an answer. And because your intuition is part of your subconscious. It's freaking that. Good Lord. It's part of your subconscious, Or I'll say it's where your subconscious communicates from. So we got some gnats, y'all. Appreciate y'all being here. Thank each and every one of y'all. So you just got to bear with me. If you're in here and you're new, that's why I went through that big explanation. I appreciate any taps and likes and shares or anything else y'all do. Thank y'all for those that are going to subscribe. Because I want to go through this a couple times, to give people a chance to see exactly what we're doing. Because I know it's going to make a tremendous difference in people's lives. Because, part of one of the biggest problems is belief. And sometimes people don't have belief in themselves. And again, I got to say it, belief is part of one of the characteristics of your subconscious. What you believe versus what you don't believe is already tied into that. That's why where you are emotionally, anything that's emotional that takes place, your mind takes that and says, this is important. And because it's important, it automatically goes to your subconscious. When it's not important, it's a conscious thought, and it gets classified in your mind as short-term memory. That's why you don't remember them affirmations that you said yesterday. You're gone. Because it's tied into your conscious thought process. So that's why those things work for a period of time. But the extension, they don't. Discipline, yeah. Discipline is directly connected, Eric, Ertan, to your subconscious. That's part of what I'm trying to share with you. Because willpower, when people try to do things from a place of willpower, they fail because it's part of your short-term thinking, which is part of your conscious thinking. That's why the first day when I talked about this, I went over the difference between your subconscious and your conscious. They're just big difference. One is more towards willpower, which is willpower. You're doing something based upon just trying to muscle it and do it on your own. And the other is based upon submitting and surrendering. That's why the easiest way to program your subconscious is from a place of surrender. Oh, your English is bad? Okay. Opposite. Yeah. Your English is bad. Okay. Yeah. Appreciate it though. You cats. Yeah, I appreciate y'all being in here. Thank all of y'all for joining. If you're in here and if you're appreciate you tapping the screen. Thank you for joining in. I have one of my coaching clients that she's doing some writing assignment, and so if you have any questions, because what I'm talking about is the subconscious versus the conscious, and just the importance of it, the level of importance of it, and I'm sold on this thing. I'm really, really sold on it. Yeah. And so Ertan said he needs discipline, and discipline is created in your subconscious. So whatever you're trying to do, the thing that I would tell you, Ertan, is that you have to make it something where it's emotional to you. If it is emotional to you, if you have an emotional feeling about what you're doing, your mind just does things as far as classification. Let me follow this here, let me follow this there. And so that's why our emotion, where are you emotional? Are you an excited person? Are you kind of where are you? Where are you? And that's why one of the easiest ways to get excited is maybe clapping your hands and walking around and doing little things and moving yourself, moving your body. I do certain qigong, I don't do it all the time, but I say so sometimes I do. And so some of those things I do is just basically you're moving your body to raise your frequency, to raise your vibration, to raise your energy, to get yourself in higher states emotionally. Okay. So y'all have any more questions? Because she's got, that's it. Okay. The clock just ran out. Ness, clock just ran out. Let me know how you're doing, Ness. If you need more time, let me know. I can give you, I give you 5 more minutes if you need it. You need more time or you good? Because my question to you is based upon what you have written right now. Are you good with, oh, wow. Okay. Yeah. So give yourself 5 more minutes. I'm going to talk to Ertan. I'll talk to Ertan. Give yourself 5 more minutes. And again, I'm gonna set up a session with you and what's your name anyway. So, but the more you can do, the better it will be. Yeah, yeah. So I'll give you 5 more. And so yeah, Ertan, I understand what you're saying. Part of changing your life, Ertan, is going to be part of changing your mindset and your thoughts. Yeah, it probably gets lonely and it probably gets boring and different things like that. But when you are meeting people, you just want to make sure that you're meeting good people out here. As far as people that have your best interest, they're not people that are trying to beat you and get over on you and things like that. You know, and so sometimes it's almost better to be alone for a while and and kind of figure things out. Figure things out for yourself and the things that you need to do. I should be having some music on right now. Y'all have any questions that are in here? Again, if you're just joining me, I have some coaching clients or a particular one because I know that there's definitely one in here that she's creating a story. So I have her on the clock, and so through that process, what I'm doing is I'm answering. Appreciate the follow. Appreciate the follow, Ertan. Appreciate that. Yeah. So we were on here the last 3 days, and we were just trying to share people any information we could with people about how they can really raise their vibration and how they can get to better states, and part of doing that is and actually healing, because the result that's going to come from this is that there's going to be a level of healing that will take place within you because you will be reprogramming your mind from all of the old things that were not working for you. Like if you're the type of person that you didn't have successful relationships, your intimate relationships, or even your just general relationships, this will be a process of you reprogramming your mind to think in terms favorably towards relationships, to think favorably towards your income and your resources and your money and how much you make, and I often say my mindset about money was based upon growing up as a preacher's kid. And a lot of times preachers, their mindset isn't about making money and being rich and all this. Their mindset is about serving, being of service to other people. And so I grew up seeing that. I saw it from my grandfather. I saw it from my father. So I just naturally picked those things up because I was always a helper. I always helped people. And so even with that being said, I mean, I still had a desire to have a certain level of financial success because I knew that when I had a family or when I created a family, that I wanted my family to have some type of security. That didn't mean that they needed to be billionaires or anything crazy. It just meant that I wanted to have my family in a place. Thank you for the follow. That they were secure, and that everything was taken care of, and things were good. Things were good. It wasn't all the stress and the worry, and if they needed to go to college, somebody needed to go to college, that the funds were there to take them to college, and if one of them was going to start a business, that the funds were there to start the business. All those things, that was part of the desire that I had, and a lot of these things, again, I saw in my own life. I saw a lot of the blocks. I saw a lot of the financial blocks. And so I would have really, really high years and make really pretty good incomes, almost 7 figures. And then years I would have 200-300 grand and something like that, which ain't that great. And so it was highs and lows based upon thought process. That's why you have people, and I said this a couple weeks back, they'll win the lottery and they'll win $100 million or 20 million, 50 million, and then they're broke because they've never gotten their mind wrapped around the fact that they have that money. So there's a part of them, when I talked about on day 2, that's a block. They got blocks in their lives, and that block in their life is telling them, "Oh, you don't deserve $10 million. Yes, you won $10 million, but you don't deserve $10 million." And so your own brain sabotages you. That's part of one of the blocks I talked about, self-sabotage. Our own mind sabotages us because of not feeling, because your mind is saying, "Oh, you're an imposter." That's another block. You're an imposter. You don't deserve to have that money, or you don't deserve to be rich. Who are you? Who in your family has had that? Why should you write a book? Why should you be an author? Why should you be a speaker? Why should you be wealthy? Why should you travel the world? Why should you do that? What makes you think you can do that? This is what your own mind says to us. This is why you got to go in and you got to retrain it, because a lot of that thought process was placed in you by other people. And until you start dealing with it and addressing it and working on it and dealing it and addressing it and working on it, because it's through repetition. Repetition represents I'm doing it over and over and over and over and over again. Something becomes a habit because behavior, reward, behavior, reward, behavior, reward. You do something, you get a reward. The reward a lot of times is that chemical release out in your brain. You got that chemical release. That's why when people do certain narcotics and things, they get that release in their minds. Not only is it's that part of that feeling. It's part of that feeling that they talk about in their body, but really the feeling is in their mind. They're feeling that euphoria in their minds. They're HIGH and they're this, that. It's in their minds. So it's part of the reward. So then they got to go back and they got to go find ways of getting more of that reward, because we like to get rewards. We like to open the pleasure part of our mind. That's why when you look up when you're about to finish on certain things, because that's part of the reward. That's where the rewards are in your frontal lobe. So this is part of what I'm saying. You gotta, in order to break the cycle or to get to the next level, you gotta learn something and start repeating things that are going to get you to the next level. So this is where this whole story comes from. You're creating a story. You're creating a story that's going to allow you to start retraining your mind to believe new things about yourself, where you're no longer going to have so many battles about yourself, because you're going to believe in yourself, because your new beliefs are going to line up with what you truly feel about yourself. And that's why you won't need other people's opinions. Other people's opinions won't matter about you. It won't matter about what they feel and what they think, because you're comfortable with who you are as a person. You don't need their validation, because you are who you are. Because you have a great self-image. You are not a person that is beneath anybody else. You're not superior to anybody else, but you're definitely not beneath anybody else. And you're comfortable with who you are. That's why you don't have to answer to people, and you don't have to, you don't need their validation or them to like you or to. No, you found your spot. Yeah, and that's the problem. That's the problem, Ertan. Many people are stuck. They're stuck right there because of their own minds. Because you have one mind that you want to, that thinking, oh, I want to do good, but you got the other mind, like God versus the devil. The other mind is saying, you can't do that. Yes, I can. You can't do that. Yes, I can. You can't do that. Yes, I can. And then this mind, because it's your subconscious and it controls your long-term thinking or long-term memory, it's the one that wins. This is why the subconscious controls 90 to 95% of your life. This is why this is the mind that has to be dealt with. Not the short-term memory, the long-term memory, which is your subconscious. And how you making out, Vanessa? Are you good? Appreciate y'all for the taps. Thank y'all for the taps and the likes. Thank y'all for the likes. Is she still there, Vanessa? Oh, okay, you're done. Okay, you look at you. Okay, so the next thing is Vanessa, and I'm gonna go over some things real quick. And this is all part of you putting that story together. When you look at the music part of putting your video or putting your whole thing together, you want to go to somewhere like YouTube or whatever, and you want to find music that's in alignment with I'll do this because you really don't want word. You don't really want music with words in it. So you want to find something that's high vibration, high frequency. And the easiest way to find that is YouTube. You can find high vibration frequency music. I got some of that stuff on my page, and if you don't like mine, go to somebody else's page that has it. And what it is you'll find certain music that's played in videos, which you can record, and you're not taking anybody's anything. A lot of this stuff is it's recycled and it's over and over again. So you want to find high vibration frequency music, and it's all instrumental. It's like in horns and strings and different things like that. As you're listening through different people that have channels that have that stuff, I have some of it on my page. What you want to do is you want to find what resonates with you. So what you feel, because you got to feel the emotion. That when you feel that certain piece of music, you want to feel the emotion of that piece of music. Thank you, Ertan. Appreciate you. Thank you. Yeah, thank you. Have a good day or good night, because you said you should sleep, so it must be night there. So it's night there. Yeah. So the music, because the music is one of the keys. You want to find music. You got that? When you got that, if you've written that down, or you understand what I'm saying, say got it for me, please, Vanessa. Okay. Number two, emotion. And I've said this over and over again. You got to get yourself in emotional states. And so part of that is you go to church, you know how to clap your hands, you know how to talk to yourself and say whatever you need to say around your house to get yourself in the right space, right? So you got to tie in your emotion. This is all in the process and right before you record what you're going to say. And there's another technique, remind me, that I'll teach you, where you can kind of do a little short meditation on your heart, and stir up and connect into your heart. So the importance is to strengthen, to reshape, to consolidate. The important part is to strengthen, to reshape, and to consolidate. You have a traumatic experience that you still remember today. When you look at epigenetics, the changes can sustain long periods of time. I'm not going to read that. Stress hormone, epinephrine. Okay, writing exercise. So what you want to do is you want to write what you've already started. Make sure you're writing your story, that you're writing it in the present tense, like we talked about yesterday, with vivid hope and vivid expectations, with emotion of having received already. Make it delicious like cotton candy or sour like lemons. In other words, you want to make it that you can kind of taste the lemons as it drips, or a nice piece of watermelon, or whatever it is, whatever you like. And or if you like Kona coffee, or whatever people drink or eat. Um, yeah. So when you get a chance, because I'm pretty much done. Do you have any questions, Vanessa? Because I wanted to leave time for questions. Do you have any questions or anything that you want to ask, or you get anything out of this? I mean, where you at? I mean, do you understand why all this went on, and did it make any sense to you? What's your? I'm gonna have to get some feedback from you. Maybe not right this second, but like at least maybe a message or something. Just let me know. You got it. You have it. Oh, okay. Piecing it together. Okay. Yeah. Yep. That's all it is. And you want to, as you're reading out through it, you want to make sure that it stays in a positive flow. Oh, okay. You understand. Okay. Appreciate y'all being in here tonight. Thank y'all for the taps and likes and the shares and all the good things and the follows and the subscribes and hitting the bell notification. And this was a 3-day event, and I'm pretty much done, Vanessa. So what we'll do is, like I said, I'll have to set up an appointment and find out what is a good day for you and D Law. But I know it's her birthday this weekend. She ended up saying that, so she's probably, living la vida loca, and and so yeah. So if you've already got the foundation or the format set up, you're in good shape. You're in good shape. So anybody have any questions that's in the chat? You have any questions? Let me know where you're tuning in from. Put it in the chat. Okay. All right, y'all. So I appreciate everybody that tuned in. Thank each and every person that stayed for the 3 days, because this is the first time I did this, and it was a lot. It felt like a lot to me. And I wasn't the one receiving the information, but that's all information that I've been studying and reading, and I didn't even go over half this stuff. But through this process, I ended up creating a whole nother a home study course. I created just a bunch of different things that I'll have. But this thing that we did today, I'm gonna clean it up. I'm gonna get some feedback from the people that were in it, and I'm gonna go back over it again, probably in like 2 weeks. I'm planning on 2 weeks. I'm gonna tell people 2 weeks now. That way I give people chance to, kind of set it in the schedule. And once I'll be back on TikTok from Monday night, and kind of start telling people that we'll plan it 2 weeks out. That way I can, because I kind of did it, I kept talking about it, and then I just kind of dropped it on people within a week. And, and it didn't really matter too much, because my mindset was I just wanted to, I wanted to get through it once. That's kind of my mindset. I would rather get through it once, go back, strip it all down, look at what I got to do to clean it up, and how I can, do it better for next time. And, but I appreciate everybody that tuned in. I thank each and every one of you for deciding to spend these last 3 days with us. You never have enough time for you. Well, the thing that I will tell you is Vanessa, is that you have to take time for you, because you're all you got. Part of you loving yourself is you putting yourself as a priority. It's not. It's of course we're helpers of other people, but that's something that I was the same way. I spent probably the last 30-some years. Everything I did was for everybody else. It was for other people. And so even through my divorce, one of the things that I learned was most important was that I had to learn to start prioritizing myself. And that was a difficult challenge for me, because part of my identity was tied into what I did for other people. That's a block. That's a block that you it sounds like that you have to deal with, like myself. My part of my identity and part of my value was tied into what I did for other people. And it's no longer there, because now that even when I'm not doing things for these same people, they're still surviving. Things are still going okay in their lives. And a lot of times what I found is that I was crippling people based upon wanting to be there. And I'm not their Lord and Savior. And so it's not really my job to be there. It's only my job, especially even, it's our job to be there to help. But then sometimes, yeah. But then sometimes people will never learn if they always know that they can fall back on you, because you're always going to be there for them. And that's the way people were. And so now when they call, they're like, "Ooh," but I'm not the same guy. I'm not the same person I was 3 years ago. Before my divorce, I'm not the same guy. You can't go through a traumatic experience, work on healing, and be the same person. You can't do it. You can't be the same person, because you've changed. Especially if you learned lessons. That's how I was able to write that book. And I don't care how great it is or good it is to people. The point is, I was able to put my emotion and my feeling on words based upon my experience. I was able to learn lessons. And those lessons I know are supposed are going to be, and they are part of a blessing for people all over the world as they read those words. Because some people, one of the biggest things is some people don't realize that they need to leave certain situations because they feel like they just have to stay. But maybe your time is done. Maybe the part of you that's been there for all that time, maybe it's time for you to leave. Maybe it's time for you to go your separate ways. Because it's not going to get any better. It's just going to continue perpetually get this more of the same. So anybody else in here have any questions? And thank you all for tuning in. Thank you all for your time and your attention. And have a great night. Like I always say, I believe in you. You gotta believe in yourself. Yeah. So Vanessa, I'll see you. I'll see you on the live, and we'll coordinate a day. Like I said, I'll coordinate a day when I can get D-Law on, as well as yourself, and maybe we'll do like a Google Meets or something. And we'll just figure this thing out. And so I'll talk to y'all soon. Anybody else on here that you have a question, anything else you want to discuss before I close out? So in closing, again, my name is Arnold Austin. I'm a certified coach. We've been on here the last 3 days, and we've talked about the subconscious. If you want to get more information on, you came back from vacation with 600 emails. Woo, good. 6,000 emails. Good Lord, that is crazy. So yeah, if you're in here, basically we've been talking about the subconscious. If you're interested in learning more about that, you want to follow me on this page. And also TikTok and Facebook if you decide to, because I'm going to be posting more videos like this, but also I'm going to be doing more live events, 2-3 day events, where I'm going to be teaching people how they can actually start changing their lives, stop allowing the difficulties and the blocks that are in their minds to hinder them from getting to the next level. So that's my thought for you for tonight and for today. Appreciate each and every one of you. Thank you for tuning in. Like I always say, I believe in you, but you got to believe in yourself. Thanks. Talk to you soon.